video, 7 foods most people consider healthy that are slowly damaging your kidneys. Kidney disease was once considered incurable. Today, science proved that assumption wrong. There are still many patients that cannot improve even if they tried their best, and in many cases it's not their fault either. Thanks to big corporations and their marketing departments, you think you are eating healthy, but you are actually swallowing poison. Every day you got to the supermarket and risk falling into the trap of the food industry. They disguise their products as natural, organic, or low-fat, but they are actually loaded with sugar, additives, and chemicals. They lure you in with their attractive packaging and misleading labels, but they are actually harming your health and your kidneys. You could be like a fish that bites the bait, unaware of the hook that awaits. Time to learn how to avoid this, especially if you want your kidneys to improve. So there are 7 foods you must know about in order to avoid the hook, starting with number 7, the dirty dozen. Now guys, if you follow me here regularly, you probably know already that I usually recommend to eat organic veggies and fruit. The reason is the dirty dozen. So what is the dirty dozen and why are these foods so much more dangerous than they seem? The Environmental Working Group, or EWG, a non-profit organization that exposes the health risks of industrial agriculture, has compiled this list based on extensive testing and analysis. These are the foods that they found to have the highest levels of toxic chemicals on them. So be careful if you eat these foods regularly. Make sure that you are washing them very well and also consider buying organic. In 2023, the foods in the dirty dozen are strawberries, spinach, kale, collard, and mustard greens, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, grapes, bell and hot peppers, cherries, blueberries, green beans. Yes, it's a long list and it includes way too many of the healthiest foods for people with kidney problems. But all of these foods have been tested and found to have too high concentration of pesticides and dangerous toxins. But hey, it doesn't absolutely mean that we should stop eating these foods, alright? But you may want to prefer organic when it comes to these 12 foods. Why? Well, the pesticides that were found on these fruit and veggies are, unfortunately, more dangerous for people with kidney disease than the general population. Organophosphates, for example, that are used on a wide variety of crops have been directly linked to kidney damage. This study was conducted in the US and on healthy adults. What they found out is that those exposed to these common pesticides were 25% more likely to develop CKD. So be careful with these foods in particular. Consider buying organic, especially when it comes to these foods. And also consider giving this video a like and sharing it with a friend. Up next, this is one of the most popular breakfast staples, but should you avoid it with kidney disease? Number 6, instant oats. Oh, way to turn a perfectly healthy morning staple into a danger for the kidneys. Oatmeal could be one of the healthiest breakfast staples out there. Oats are rich in beta-glucan, a type of dietary fiber with powerful detoxing properties. Oatmeal is also great for those with diabetes because it's low on the glycemic scale and full of fiber. There is only one problem. Instant oats are generally not safe for people with kidney disease. Many instant oatmeal packets contain added sugar, added salt, and in some cases phosphorus additives. Especially be careful with instant oats that come in those little single serving packets. They are almost always full of added phosphorus, and that's bad. While natural phosphorus from plant-based foods is not a problem, you should never eat anything with phosphorus additives. So if you are buying instant oatmeal, double check the label. If you see phosphates or any kind of added sugar in the ingredient, avoid that product. A better option could be rolled oats or steel cut oats. These are lightly processed and don't contain added phosphorus or sugar. They should have only one ingredient listed on the label. Up next, what can be even worse? Number 5, multigrain bread. The word multigrain sounds healthy, doesn't it? But thanks to the miracle of marketing, it doesn't mean that the bread is actually made with whole grains. Many multigrain breads are made with refined flours that have been stripped of their nutrients and fiber. Not healthy. They may also contain added sugar, salt, and preservatives, including phosphate. Not healthy at all. But they still want to sell this bread, alright? This is why brands may add a little bit of whole wheat to all this refined flour and call it multigrain. Yeah, they are not technically lying to you, but they are damaging your health. So be careful with bread in general and double check the label of what you are eating. Some diabetes patients may be better off by avoiding bread altogether. What's even worse? Number 4, morning cereals. Okay, I know that not many people today still believe that morning cereals are healthy. I get that, and I bet that most of you guys following me here regularly just avoid morning cereals. You know that they are not healthy. So why is this food on the top 7 of the worst junk foods sold as healthy then? Well, it's immediately clear when we look at the boxes of some cereal brands that they are still targeting the health-conscious crowd. Here, low cholesterol Cheerios. Are you kidding me? And also, all brand cereals with antioxidants, organic cereals, cereals with raisin or other fruits on the boxes. No, it's clear that they haven't given up on health-conscious people entirely. And yet, these cereals are very bad for your health. It's especially ironic that they are branding them as low cholesterol when we all know that cholesterol from food won't really raise your cholesterol levels. But what will actually raise your cholesterol levels is the sugar these healthy cereals pack in large amounts. So yeah, that's why morning cereals are, in my opinion, especially dangerous. Up next, our top 3. What's even worse than morning cereals? Well, another morning staple that's still being sold as healthy despite the fact that's pure junk food. I'm talking about number 3, fruit juice. This is one of the worst, especially because it's marketed towards the youngest. It's no secret that food companies are to blame for today's growing obesity problem, and fruit juices are one of the causes. If you're drinking a cup or 250 milliliters of fruit juice, you're ingesting up to 30 grams or 8 teaspoons of sugar. And that's a lot of calories that will go in your blood real quick, causing a spike in insulin. And sugar is not just linked to diabetes but also to high blood pressure, inflammation, heart disease, and a ton more health issues. What can be even worse? Number 2, sport drinks. Even if you're sweating like LeBron in the playoffs, there is virtually no good reason for most people to be downing sport drinks. In addition to their potentially carcinogenic artificial colors, most sport drinks have similar amounts of sugar to soda. And if you are a kidney disease patient, consider that these drinks are also chock full of potassium. Now, I know very well that potassium is not as bad as we used to believe for those with kidney disease, but you still want to get all the potassium you can from fruit and veggies and not from junk food. Number 1, a food made with only one goal in mind: to fool people that are trying to eat healthy and trying to help the environment. Number 1 is vegan meat. Here, take a look. How appetizing! Vegan meat, which is being marketed as the way to save the planet, is totally not the environment-conscious alternative to meat people think it is. Now, sometimes I think that the only way this burger is going to help reducing pollution is by making the lives of its customer base shorter. But the main reason why fake meat is our number 1 is a study published in 2020 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. This study was aimed at proving that eating fake meat is healthier for the heart than regular meat. Now, there is only one problem with this study. It was literally paid for by Beyond Meat, one of the largest fake meat brands out there. So yeah, they boast about making a more ethical product, and then they literally pay researchers to distort science. It really reminds me a lot of what secret brands were doing back then. How can this still be legal? But how unhealthy this burger actually is? I mean, it's our number one, so clearly it's very bad. Well, that's because fake meat is basically made from pea protein, soy protein, wheat gluten, various types of vegetable oils, added sodium, tons of additives, starches, all heavily processed. And you are also going to get added sugars from this. Yeah, looking at this ingredient list, we can clearly see dextrose. Dextrose is a sneaky way to add sugar to foods because most people won't realize they are eating sugar. So we can all imagine what is going to happen to some poor diabetes patient who is eating this burger in order to save the planet and is going to get a blood sugar spike instead. Guys, you don't want any of this in your diet. You don't want all these additives. You don't want the added sodium and sugar. Especially for people with kidney disease or diabetes, vegan meat is really bad. Question: is there anything we can eat at all? Now guys, whenever I talk about what foods or supplements or habits are bad for you, I always get the same question. Is there anything at all that we can actually eat? Absolutely! In my video up here, you will find a list of all those foods you cannot miss in a renal diet. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!